This is Tuesday. I don't have any episodes recorded for this week. Which brings me to my guest today. What's up, Sarah?
Hey, I'm glad to be back. Thank you for having me. It's so great to be back on the Tactical Practical podcast.
Yeah, tactical and practical. Get it right.
Tactical Practical.
Today,
Tactical and.
sponsored by Tether Insights. I'll send you an invoice for that.
Okay. Oh, man.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
pressure.
Steep too. Watch out.
$20,000 an episode.
Yeah.
You are
it's half
worth
that, but
every
yeah.
penny.
But it's half that, but I do 2 episodes a week, so it ends up being a lot. All right. We spend a lot of time on the Brain Driven Brands podcast, if you haven't heard.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of time telling people what they should do
in
their advertising.
It's very true. We do.
Today, let's tell them what not to do.
Okay.
On this episode that I coined, Badvertising.
That's a key name, too. I need you to make a company out of that.
That's a good name. And this might be a
only
spin-off
do
show.
Bad advertising.
Yeah, Badvertising might end up as a spin-off show where we drink and pull up real brands ads on screen and rip them.
Have you seen, oh my gosh, okay, I need to pull this up. This is a side note. There was a girl that does this type of stuff on TikTok, and she redesigns like really big logos, but horribly. Like she does it in the worst way possible. She's got like 4 million followers.
I like that.
Advertising is a big business, apparently.
It's something, so I was with the OG crew last week, and we drank a bunch of whiskey, obviously. And like, that's what we do when we're bored and pre-gaming is like, what are the worst ad ideas of all time? And it's all like, you know, like, hey, want someone to stare at your wood? Shop at Original Grain.
Is that where that came from?
You
you guys have whiskey brain like dumps that you guys go on, and they it just comes out with all these bad ideas.
Or like,
question.
Like Original Grain recommended by 9 out of 10 beavers. Like real dumb shit like that, you know?
Is that where the condom one came from? Didn't you run a condom ad?
Yeah, we did. That one I was like sneaky proud of though. It was a picture of a watch on like a bed of condoms.
Oh,
and it said, this Valentine's Day, get him something he actually wants to wear.
I find that really funny.
That's such
but
a
I can
good
understand that for most women that would not hit very well. You got to know your audience. Like
my mom asked me to explain it to her. And I was like,
not a good sign.
I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, guys don't want to wear condoms? And I'm like, okay.
Oh no, Mom.
Okay.
It's fine. She doesn't need to know what the millennials are doing.
Yeah.
Fascinating, but I also love the fact that this is a team bonding experience. This peak silver lining over here. You had a good team bonding experience to come up with bad ads.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think so. So anyways, Badvertising. I have a list of 5 things that I see a lot that people shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a list? You want to go back and forth?
I can get a list very quickly.
Yeah. Just for listeners here, I told Sarah about this episode 25 minutes ago. So
I haven't really had time to prep.
All right.
Come up with something.
Number 1, Badvertising mistake. Just not spending enough and or thinking that like $1,000 in ad spend means anything.
Yep. I would agree with
super doesn't.
Mm-hmm. I find it really interesting too because budget seems to be like the number 2 thing we go for. The number 1 is usually we need more ads, more meaning numerically higher amounts of ads.
Yeah.
But then the number 2 thing is almost always you should just increase your budget.
Yeah.
Increase your budget.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with this one. It's a difficult one for me too because I not every brand has the ability to do that. It depends on the size of the brand, and it depends on who's running the ads, and it depends on your product, how much like in stock you have, how much out of stock you have. There's a lot of factors that come into play here.
Yeah, I just think no one's learning much with low ad spend. And honestly, the bigger mistake is they think they're learning a lot.
Okay.
I think that's my thesis here. It's like they'll spend $700. Something crushes or it doesn't. And they take that like as gospel and like apply it to their business for the next 8 years.
Yeah.
It's like, well, hold on. Like maybe that $700 test wasn't the end all be all.
Yeah.
And you should spend.
I don't agree with that. I see what you're saying here. So
dollars.
You're saying that people should actually put more spend behind their ads before they take this as gospel. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
now that I would agree with.
Okay.
Do a longer test is really what
Yeah.
this is. If you're not, you don't want to do bad advertising over here.
No.
You want to do good advertising.
Yeah.
And
Good
yeah, in
advertising.
general, I would say put some spend behind something and make sure it holds up in different variants.
Yeah.
This is something like I'm currently expanding my methodology on. I think we need to test more variants of things, not necessarily iterations, variants, same
Oh,
message
that's
in
interesting.
different formats. That's what I think.
Oh, I like that.
This
Uh,
is something that people are gonna get, like, really harsh with me on, I think, because I 'cause
no, that's
I'm a
good. Let's do an
precision
episode about
marketer,
that,
but
by the way,
well, we really should, because
because we both
I've
have had
seen it.
strong thoughts on iterations for a while of we
Yes.
don't like them.
Yeah. I really don't like iterations. I don't find them to be very efficient more than
Yes,
anything else. They
it's
just
not
seem like a
worth the
waste of
extra work.
cash to me.
Yeah.
I'm on a bunny trail now, but yes, your original point I agree with.
Okay, great. All right. You got a
100%.
advertising mistake for me?
Bad advertising mistake. I think the biggest one that comes up for me is I'm gonna try and stay away from like volume and stuff because we've talked a ton about that
Yeah.
basically everywhere we are. One of the biggest ones I see is assuming that format is gonna save you. This
Mm,
is like bad advertising 101, where I
yeah.
see accounts trained on UGC or
Yep.
trained on statics or trained on whatever, meaning you can't put a new format into the ad account and have it work. Specifically because your pixel has been trained to go look for people who not only resonate with your message, whatever's in your ad, but they resonate with the type, like the ad type.
Yeah.
And you've just constantly fed the beast this one particular ad type. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, we can't put statics in this ad account because they never work. And I'm like, well, your pixel has been trained to go find only one
Yeah.
type of person, somebody that likes video. That I think is also it injects a whole lot of risk. If video
Yeah.
stops working, what do you do? The
Yeah.
advertising, man. That's a
Yeah.
bad one.
We've been super heavy on statics for the last year. And
Mhm.
now like we're getting into videos.
Yeah.
And we should have been doing it the whole time. Like,
Really? Like both, you mean?
well, we should have been. It's hard to say that because we absolutely fucking dominated last year and didn't do much
It's
wrong.
really hard to say because I'm so good at my job.
But no, it's a team effort. Team effort. I can tell you, I didn't make a single one of the statics that crushed for us last year.
You do have an amazing photographer, really awesome graphic designer. Like your team is
Yep.
solid.
JB
We got
and
good players
Chris,
over there. Yeah.
shout out
Shout out.
them. They kill it.
Shout out.
I'm the one who launches the ads, but no.
I turn them on.
I click a few buttons and type in a budget number. Yeah, 10 grand a day. I don't give a fuck.
I'm so good at this. Oh God, it's too funny.
No, but I don't wish we started sooner. But what I'm trying to communicate is like now trying to get up to speed on it is hard.
It's harder, yeah.
It's like learning a new skill. It's
It
like
really
working out a new muscle. It's just
Yep.
like hard to get in the habit of it. And like
Mhm.
one thing that I do think we could have done better last year while everything was crushing,
Mhm.
like throw a few lines in the water elsewhere to be like, is there
Yes.
anything else we can get good at? Is there anything else that
Yeah.
might work for us? That's
Yep.
honestly easier to do when times are crushing than when things are
Yes.
bad or when things are just fine. Because everything feels like a win and you've got budget to play
Yep.
with. Because yeah, I agree. Like getting too committed to one creative format is a really hard thing to kind of dig yourself out of.
Such a giant risk. This also goes into like another bad advertising thing that I see a lot, which is assuming that like the market will save me type of a thing.
Yeah.
I've noticed a lot of brands are, and this is something you and I were talking about earlier. A lot of brands are talking about like, how do I grow? Like, how do I 10x? I'm at this level. I can't break past this particular revenue, whatever,
Yep.
like the ceiling I've hit. A lot of people came in with like these conversations of, well, you just need to do more influencer partnerships, or like you need to go after celebrities. We need to get more like TikTok stuff. In general, I don't think you can 10x growth on one specific methodology.
Yeah.
Like bad advertising in general comes into play when people just assume, oh, it's I just need to like talk to, I don't know, more markets, or I need to get more influencers, or I need to do this one specific thing. It's you got to do almost everything all at once nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
Did you see what I responded to Sean's tweet?
No, I need to go look for it because I didn't realize you responded.
I said that Rage should sell guns and ammo.
I mean, you're
Heard
not
business
wrong.
is booming these days.
You're not wrong, really. And that's again, I have my own post that I'm probably gonna send to Sean and be like, Sean, here's my ideas. But in general, I think a lot of this comes down to the fact that your markets are oversaturated. This is not the days of early Apple when they came up in like brand new technology. The internet had just become a thing and
Yeah.
everybody was in the market for a computer. Not everybody's in the market for a wallet right now. However, the majority of men own a wallet, right? Now that's interesting because okay, this is going off into the behavioral weeds, but now you're talking about if
That's
you want
fine.
to
We're
10x
here.
a business, if you want to 10x a business, you have to attach it to behavior that already exists. Are you going after change your behavior marketing, right? You're asking people to
Yeah.
switch, or are you going after like inertia marketing, which
Yeah.
is getting people to do something?
Yeah.
So
Which I do
I don't know.
think they've done a really good. This has become a Ridge review podcast. By the way, we're not saying that Ridge is bad at advertising.
Rich is
Let's
incredibly
get that
good
out
at
there.
advertising. Clearly, they've grown very, very well.
Hey, Sean, we did an episode called Bad Advertising. It's all about your brand.
It's all about your oh,
No,
Sean.
they've done a great job diversifying their product categories
Mm,
because, like,
mhm.
wallets are not tapped, but like they've sold a fuck ton of wallets,
Yeah,
and now it's like, all right,
they've
how many
sold a
people are there?
lot of
Because that's how
wallets.
many wallets they've
Yes.
sold.
Yep.
But they're doing a bunch of kind of like everyday carry stuff. That's honestly why
Yeah.
I thought of guns. Like that's half a
Yes.
joke, but for
Mhm.
me, my everyday carry is keys, wallet, phone, 6 guns, all strapped to me.
And some
Uh,
steak.
and
Just
yeah, and a
cooler
steak
full of
knife
steak.
and a fork in
Just in
case I
case. Just in
see a
case.
cow. Um,
Yes. Yes, yes,
I
yes.
don't know. We got way
Yeah,
off track
we
here.
got way off track. It's fine, it's fine. In general,
Number
there's a
2
lot of
somehow?
stuff in there. I think this is 2. Maybe it's 3. This is why we don't know. We don't ever do podcasts in the middle of the week for this reason because we're
Yeah.
out of sorts.
Number
Continue.
2, this also what happens for the record when you don't prepare the show notes. When I've prepared,
I
gets off the rails
am
immediately.
very good at 5-minute preparation. Let me just tell
All
you, I
right.
can come up with stuff. Okay, I'm
Number
ready.
2, mistake I see all the time, making ads that are designed to get the most attention rather than the right attention
Ooh,
or
yeah.
rather
Oh,
than
yep.
creating intention. I think it's a
Yes.
mistake I see all the time. People doing hacky hooks,
Yep. Yep.
people doing like the cracked screen thing to get people to stop. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Hate
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
I've
Yep.
seen
Yep.
like upside down and crooked ads.
This was one of
Hate it.
your biggest hot takes when we first started podcasting together. I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it was similar to this where I'm not going after attention. I'm going after
No.
intention, right?
Yeah.
And that is key. Like
Yeah.
advertising all over the place. I see every brand do it, even the big players. Like
Yep.
oftentimes we're trying to get hacky with it just to get people to stop. And I kind of disagree with that because again, you can grow any capacity that you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to have a customer who wants to be with you, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't want to bring people in that are just going to try it and skip out, try it and churn, or even worse, return it and tell everybody that they hated it.
Yeah.
Like you got to get the right customers on
Yeah.
board.
First of all, shout out to Raba. I stole the attention to intention thing from him a couple years ago. But I haven't heard him say it in a while, so I'm trying to claim it as mine.
I mean, you can at this point because I haven't seen him say it before.
Yeah.
So,
So
Rama, you should
there
have
you go.
claimed that as your own.
There you go. It's mine now. No, but I completely agree with you. Like, it's so easy to fall in the trap. Like, we got to capture people's attention, and that's true. But if they're the wrong people, you're going to be chasing the wrong thing.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
to be honest, like our Valentine's Day condom ad is the perfect example of that. Where like that's going to capture the attention and persuade the dude, but the
Mhm.
dude's not buying himself the Valentine's Day gift. His
Yeah.
girl is.
His girl is. Yep.
He's going to
Yeah.
send it to her, and she's going to get annoyed.
Yeah.
It's like,
She's gonna be like, "What the hell is this ad?"
she's gonna be like, this guy sucks. We should probably break up if he's
Yeah.
sending me this ad. Um,
Yep.
but like, yeah, just don't like. It's not worth it. Like that's why so many of our ads that rip are like pictures of whiskey bottles and distilleries and barrels for the guys, and then for the girls, we do all the soft, luxurious, high-end materials
Mhm.
like silk and velvet and bows and gifts and everything. Like,
Yep.
yeah, we want to
Yep.
get attention, but only really from a certain group of people
Yep.
that we
Exactly.
know are primed to buy during that time.
Mhm. I agree with this 100%. I have another bad advertising one that I
Hit
see
me.
a lot that's like something we haven't talked about in a while. Over promising and then actually delivering
Yeah.
on your over promising, but not over delivering, right? Like
Yeah.
you actually promise something and deliver exactly what you promised, but you don't go above and beyond because you can't, because everybody's peaked. Like,
Yeah.
if everyone has a six pack and like is amazing and like has a full head of hair, whatever it is, if
Yeah.
everyone looks that way, it's very, very difficult for the consumers to be like, well, how am I supposed to know which one is like a peak human?
Yeah.
They all look amazing, right? Now, this is the hardest part. Once you get to a level of society that it's very difficult to tell which is good and which is bad because they all look the same, then we get to the point where nobody has any idea what they're supposed to choose. It's like choice overload.
Yeah.
So this is something I see a ton in advertising.
I kind of think about this. I've been calling it the Marvel problem, or like the Avengers
Oh, I
problem.
like the coinage. Okay.
Are you familiar with any of those movies?
Yes, I've
Okay.
seen many.
So big chain of movies that leads up to the bad guy, Thanos, killing half the people in the universe.
Yeah, which is so sad.
Which is like a big issue
A big
for
deal.
half the people currently. And the other half weren't too pumped about it either. The problem is,
oh God,
what are they gonna do in the next movies?
that's what I'm saying.
Because like you can't go bigger.
You can't go
than
bigger.
The guy killing the whole universe.
Yeah.
And like every movie they put out since sucked. And like I think we're getting to that point in digital advertising. We're like, all right, every Fabletics ad is 80% off.
Yep.
And every Black Friday ad is 65% off. And everyone can promise the world, and every supplement is going to give you a six pack. 100%. And we're getting to this problem where like, hey, we've overpromised everything. Even if your product is that good, it's not impressive anymore because everyone else is promising it.
Well, that's what I'm saying is like we are out of the generation of snake oil. There isn't a lot of snake oil anymore. Like a few brands, but they're not the ones that like typically rise real quick. A few brands. Okay, but you have things like Ridge. Okay, we talked about Ridge, poor Sean. Now I'm going to hype you up. Ridge is like one of the best products I've ever seen in the market. Like they're incredibly well produced products. Very, very good brand. High levels of customer service. Like they peaked, right? They're like peak level brand. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's hard.
It's almost like we have dehumanized the brands to the point where now everything's mechanically AI'd, like over infrastructured and indexed to the point where it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And then we give it to the consumers and we're like, this is perfect. And they're like, you're right, it's perfect. And then they're like let down kind of because they're like, well, there's nothing better then. There's no reason to go after anything else because everything in the market is perfect. So I don't know. I see this in advertising a lot where we overpromise and then we like over-deliver. And it's like, oh no.
There's a bunch of like fake watch brands popping up that are all like drop shipping the cheapest quality shit from China. And I'm seeing their ads a lot. And I'm like, all right, you guys are probably making some money right now.
Yeah.
But you got to know this runs out in anywhere from 60 days to a year. Like, I know the exact movements you're importing from China. We don't use them anymore because they're cheap as shit. And they're gonna crap out on you. So it's like I do think the tide has kind of gone out. You got to build a real brand and a product that does exceed expectations.
It scares me. I'm like, what happens when everything's quality? Then what do we do? You can't compete on quality. Then what?
Then we go back to competing on price, and then quality suffers, and then we start the cycle over.
This is the reason why the psychologically focused brands are the ones that are winning. Hashtag. I had nothing after the hashtag. Anyways, continue.
All right, number three somehow 18 minutes in. Having inconsistent messaging from the visual creative to the caption to the landing page.
That drives me crazy.
See it all the time. I know you're pissed about it. Go off.
Oh, I hate it mostly because it's like the simplest thing to get right. It's like you don't even have to work. Just copy and paste the copy all the way over. Now, obviously, it needs to be dependent on which identity you're bringing into your ecosystem. But in general, like we need to be more careful about what we're saying to these people. I talked to somebody about this. I have a clip that I was like just editing before I got on this podcast where I was talking to this person about the fact that in general, dating is a lot like brand building, right? So in dating, we're constantly doing this like double checking and texting and we're like checking back in with each other, but you're never like just going hard at it where it's like, do you want me or not? Right. That's intense. And
or you shouldn't be, guys, for anyone listening out there, shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be doing that. Okay.
Thank you.
But brands do this all the time.
Yeah.
where we come into the ecosystem and like we don't offer, do you want to see more? We just go, here it is, here it is, here it is, like buy, 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 buy. And
Yeah.
it gets, oh, interrupting podcast for food.
Oh,
My
very
husband's
nice.
so nice.
That
My
Casey?
husband. It is Consumer Casey.
Consumer
Also,
Casey.
he actually has a handle for this now. He got an Instagram
Oh, let's
for
go.
Consumer Casey. That's
Huge.
why the lighting in here looks great. Thank you. He's so sweet to
That's
me.
nice.
My
Speaking of
husband
marriage, all right, so clearly marriage is going well. You're getting food delivered to your office. I did get food delivered a
100%.
little while ago too.
Did you really? Did
Yeah,
you get a sandwich? I got a sandwich.
nope, we got a bagel toasted with cream cheese. Crushed it already.
Oh,
It's
I mean,
very
that
good.
sounds delicious too,
Yeah, I
honestly.
got a Red Bull too, so that's how you know she really cares.
She loves you.
Yeah, she
She
does.
loves you deeply. That's wonderful.
Anyways, take
What
it
were we
from
talking
us with I've got almost 6 years of
what were we
marriage under
talking
my
about?
belt. What do you have?
This will be 14.
So, all right. So between
Yeah.
us, 20 years of marriage experience. Don't give inconsistent messaging. It's super problematic.
Same. Where was I? I was going off on something about dating, and then my husband walked in. I was like, "Oh, husband, okay, it's fine." Something about dating. Oh yeah. So the messaging tends to get more inconsistent as you go into the ecosystem. I've
Yeah,
noticed this. We get really hyped and excited. Please be our customer up at acquisition level, and then once you get down into retention, it's like we're just going to send you a text message sometimes
yeah,
and see if you want to buy something from us.
yeah,
Lazy. It's lazy marketing. Please, please, please turn it around, right?
yeah,
Like you need to give more to the people in the ecosystem
yeah,
than you do to the people up top. Technically, you should give equal amounts of attention to both. But if it's inconsistent and you start to get like weird messaging over here where you just want their money now,
yeah.
people notice and they don't like it.
This is
They don't
honestly
like it.
like one of my biggest arguments for why your marketing team should be in-house and not
Yes.
outsourced, because it's so much
Yeah. I
easier
agree with that.
to kind of create, I don't know, synergy, the right word.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know,
Yeah,
but like
there's good
create.
agencies out there. It's hard to
Yeah,
create that.
it's
Like,
well, and I know it's hard to have
mhm.
consistency because it's hard for us to do as an in-house team too.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
like to think about like, hey, we have copy that we know for a fact when it's on our website increases conversions.
Mhm, mhm.
It's like cool. Put it in all the ads. Put it in the welcome flow. Put it in everything
Put
we
it
have.
everywhere. Yep.
Because yes,
Mhm.
so many go from like the ad is the first touch point, which is like
Yeah.
pretty salesy. They get to the website. The first page they land on might be all about the brand. Then they click
Mhm.
through, and then it's all sales. And
Yeah.
then they get the welcome email, and it's back to like, "Hey, we're so happy you stopped by." And it's like, you were just trying to take my pants off a minute
Which is
ago. Like,
exactly,
what
this
are
is
we
what I'm
doing?
saying. It's
Like,
like you're trying a little too hard here, and then you're
yeah,
backing off real quick, and then you're coming in hard. It's like, Jesus.
yeah,
I wish everybody would understand, like, you just need to be very consistent and allow people their own choices. Just
yeah.
give them the option, and that they don't want it right now, that's okay. They'll come back as long as they like you. They'll come back.
Love it. All right,
Okay.
this one's gonna be a hot take that people don't like.
Okay.
I
Right.
don't think your ads should try to compete with organic content. Meaning, I don't think
I
you should try to make your
agree.
ads look like organic content
Oh, okay, yeah,
because
that's a hot take. Interesting.
you are not going to be better at creating organic content than the creators that exist today.
Yeah,
So why
I
are
would
you
agree with
competing
that.
with them? It's a
I don't
losing
know
game.
that I agree with this
Oh,
entirely.
okay. All right.
Okay, and the only reason I say that is because I take a lot of my ad ideas from organic. Like, there's the creators over there are just creative as hell. So oftentimes I'll go over there, grab a concept, bring it over here, and then rehash it basically for advertising.
I think there's a difference between like taking inspiration and like taking concept
Yeah.
ideas than like trying to do it,
Ah, okay. I would
than like
agree.
trying to
Trying to
replicate
just
it.
create organic content in
Yeah.
advertising. I would
Yeah.
agree with that. I would agree with that. I
I
think taking
think,
inspiration is great.
yeah. And like, obviously, I assume you're taking inspiration from creators that
Yeah.
your target audience would resonate with
Yes.
and like and align with.
Always. Yeah.
Um, but like for me, I think about like there are so many great creators in our space that our people want to watch, and that's awesome.
Mhm.
Either partner up with them and make creative
Mhm.
together, or don't be afraid to make content that complements it
Yes.
or that
Yeah.
is a little bit different but still kind of captures the same audience. Like I think there's a way to do it without trying to be like we are not going to launch the next great whiskey influencer.
Mm.
Like
Mm.
We can go partner with them. We can
Yeah.
do our little dumb reels here and there that do okay. But like our ads look like ads, and I just think that's okay.
Yeah. I I
You
I
hate this one, huh?
lean I lean your
Whenever
direction
Sarah
a
goes,
little bit.
yeah, it reminds me
Yeah.
of like my
Yeah.
second grade teacher watching me do math homework. She's like, yeah, okay. I can see where you're going, but it's fucking dead wrong.
That's
Go ahead.
entirely right.
Do you
No,
think ads that look like ads are bad advertising them?
No, I agree. I agree with you. I would personally love for most ads to look like an ad. That's Sarah's preference.
Cool.
It doesn't always work that way when it comes to growth advertising because I've seen a lot of people that are like, no, UGC, that's all our account does is UGC. I get it. I understand. It depends on the customer, depends on the brand. But yeah, I prefer if the ad looks like an ad and treats me like a customer.
Yeah.
Like I would
All right,
prefer
cool.
that in
I
general.
won you over on that one.
All right.
This one I know for a fact you're going to like.
Okay, I'm ready.
And it's the last one, maybe, or we might rant for another hour. It is bad advertising if you only focus on the offer or the sale without actually trying to sell the product.
Thank you.
See that all the time.
Yes. Thank
where
you.
the whole ad
Stop
is
doing
like
that.
30% off.
Oh,
Christmas
drives me
sale.
crazy.
I don't know what you're selling. I don't know why I should buy this. 30% off what?
Yeah. Well, you're only pulling in price sensitive customers. Like stop doing that, especially with all of your ads. If the majority of the ad account is leaning towards discounts, please stop doing that because the only people you're going to get in are people who are price focused customers. I don't want a whole bunch of them. I need a few, not a lot though. Yeah, I agree. Anytime you're focused on the offer these days, I get nervous.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, you're in a price war now, is what the only thing that you're doing over here.
Now, I'll clarify in the ad, in the landing page, I think offers are super impactful after you have sold them on the idea of your thing. But yeah, no, like for us, the only time you'll see an ad with an offer is Valentine's Day, Father's Day, and Christmas, 3 times a year.
Not even Black Friday?
Well, sorry, I consider fucking all of November and December Christmas.
That's all Christmas.
That's all
not
Christmas
Black Friday. That's all Christmas, baby.
Yeah, our tree goes up on Halloween.
Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay.
But and like we do that because like we think we need to compete in the feed because everyone is going to be sending you 80% off ads. But even in those ads, we are very intentional about putting messaging first that gives you the reason to buy from us.
Yeah.
And then we mention, hey, it's a Christmas sale. You can save $100. Because again, like
I think why.
Yeah, I think people miss out on it so many times, and people do this on their website too, where like the homepage banner will be like 35% off President's Day sale, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to buy from you yet. So the savings aren't super interesting to me.
Okay, another like pet peeve of mine is when people do this in a pop-up, like exit intent. The whole screen fills up with this giant banner that's like, wait. Before you leave, do you want 10% off? I'm like, I'm leaving for a reason. Like, I'm not ready to buy yet. Don't show me this yet. I find it's just weird. Like,
do you know what I want to do? What I want to test one day, but I've never had the balls to.
Okay.
No, cut that or leave it in. I don't care. This is my podcast.
This whole episode have been weird anyways. Yeah. We might as well just make it.
Yeah, we're going to bank this episode.
It's amazing.
No, something I've always wanted to test, because when I get the exit intent pop-up offer for 10% off, I'm like, oh, what a weird way to call me broke. Like,
oh,
what a creative way to be like, oh, you're poor, huh?
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe that might come from my own insecurities and my growing up without money and then stumbled
not broke.
into it.
Like, I was gonna say you're doing just fine. Fascinating though that like bothers you on that level.
But yeah, like I want to test it. Well, one time, be like, hey, broke? If so, here's an extra discount code.
You should though. You might get a crap ton of people loving that.
I think it'd be fun to be like, hey, if you're poor, here's a discount code. Or if you're not, you can buck up and pay full price.
You can
and see if anyone's pride.
Send them to 2 different landing pages. Yeah. Buttons. Like, which one are you? Poor? Not poor. Pick a button.
Yeah.
We'll send you to the right place.
That's a bad idea. Don't do that, anyone.
Be so funny. Please don't do that because that will offend people a lot. But
do you know what we got to do for real?
What?
We got to just start a brand that we can just fuck around with. that,
I've
like,
been
doesn't
thinking about it,
matter.
like, seriously for the past month. I've been like, I need a brand that I can sandbox. I want one where it's like, I'm just gonna test all kinds of
Like,
weird shit
really fuck
and
around
see
with.
yes, just, like, break
Yeah,
stuff, and,
because
like,
like,
it
I
doesn't
can't do this with
matter what
OG. The
happens.
guys give me a ton
I
of
know.
freedom, but not that kind of freedom.
Yeah, well, and that's their actual day job. We need a brand that's like, "Who cares if this
Doesn't
blows up?
matter.
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We're all
Alright,
here just dicking around
comment
anyway."
brand ideas for me and Sarah to start.
Yes! Oh my gosh, tell me what you think we should
Yeah.
start because I have ideas, but they're not good ones, so.
Okay. Yeah, same. I've got plenty of ideas. That should be another episode, all of
We
our bad
should!
brand ideas.
Oh, let's do it on Brain Driven. We'll go over there and be like, "This is a dump of all the really awful brand ideas," and then we'll let the audience pick.
Perfect.
You guys can
Perfect.
pick the one we're gonna build.